Okay? And that means 8 million bits, and we each might have a little tiny battery in our sensor node. How long do you think our sensor network is going to last? Yes?
2 seconds?
Yeah, maybe a couple minutes, and that's the maximum. Okay, so that's not good, because we'll do a lot of battery changing, right? We'll have to have a lot of people running around changing batteries, which is not good. We might like our sensor net to last for a year on a battery. So clearly, this is not going to work. Everybody sees the point, right? Just transmitting raw data out of the network is a bad idea. So the big theme is to realize that my voice is almost the same in each one of your ears, right? It's almost the same. Slightly different, right? But almost the same. So that means that there's all kinds of correlations or all kinds of dependencies between the signals in each of your ears. Should we be able to exploit this in some way? Does everybody see what I'm saying? So for example, each of you had 2 ears. How different do you think the sounds are between the 2 ears? I think we could get a factor of 2 savings by transmitting the left ear signal and then the difference between the left ear signal and the right ear signal. Does that make sense? But how about you and your neighbor? How about we send one of your, everybody look to your left. Everybody look to your left. Nobody looks. Cindy's doing it. Everybody look to your left. Nobody's looking to their left. Okay. Mindy. You're going with that. So imagine if you don't send any information out of the network, but you let the person to your left send the information out, and you just send the difference between you and the person on your left. Basically, then what we're going to have is only the people at the end of these benches sending out data, and then only sending differences all the way along. That's a big savings. Okay? So this is the idea of what's called collaborative sensing. The idea that the sensors shouldn't just send out raw data, but they should collaborate amongst each other, okay? And then only send out this essential difference information, okay? And this is really doing what you could call distributed DSP, or DDSP, right? Everybody say that. DDSP. Okay, so this is DDSP, and let me just give some examples of this. So one example is everything that Cindy talked about, wavelets, you can distribute throughout a network. It's a hard problem, but you can do this. I'm going to skip over these slides. But this whole idea of wavelets and multi-scale analysis, you can actually do in a distributed way. And here's an example of not this audio problem I was giving, but a smooth data field problem. And then these purple dots are the actual sensor measurements. Okay? And there's about 256 of these sensor measurements. But basically what we did is we actually did a distributed wavelet transform across the network. And the curve here is actually the interpolated data that we get looking at these sensor measurements and interpolating or extrapolating the information. Okay? And the first thing you see is you get very nice agreement between the data points and the interpolated or extrapolated data. And the really nice thing is instead of having to transmit 256 numbers out of this network, we only had to send about 32 numbers out of the network. Okay, so we had what is that, 4-fold savings in the amount of data simply by doing one of these distributed type wavelet transforms. And I can talk more about that later. Okay? Here's just an example of this with real data. So here's Intel Berkeley Labs in California. Someday some of you might work there. Okay? And this is environmental sensing inside a building. The black dots are the nodes. And I'll just give you a quick feeling of this. This is light level, and everybody can see that this is how many days worth of data do I have? How many days worth of data?
4 days.
Any guesses?
4 days.
Oh, perfect. 4 days. Why? It's obvious, right? Bright, really dark. Bright, really dark. Day, night, right? So there's about 4 days worth of data, 3 nights. And the thing is, why do we need to send data from the network when it's dark? Why can't we compress? And so we can actually use distributed wavelet-like compression ideas. And just look at this curve. This is an example of sending about 10 times less data out of the network, but being able to do in each of these cases a pretty good job approximating these signals. Okay, so you see there's like about 50 signals here, one laid on top of the other, and we're doing a pretty good job of approximating with 100 times less data. This is humidity levels, so it gets humid at night when the air conditioner turns off, less humid during the day when the air conditioner turns on. Okay, and this is temperature, right? It gets hotter in the day, colder at night. This is in Berkeley, so they can actually, it does get cold at night. Okay, so this is just some examples. This is just on one signal. So this is a very important area of signal processing is moving toward not centralized signal processing, but distributed signal processing. And for people, like I said, who know about peer-to-peer databases, this is very related to those kind of problems, distributed systems. We have a test bed in Peru where we actually test out some of these ideas. We climb up in trees, try not to fall out. Some of my graduate students do this. This is an aerial view from a tree. And we actually put these sensor nodes in extremely expensive housing. This costs about 10 cents. It's just a pipe, plastic pipe with a plastic pipe end, but it works great. And we deploy networks, and we get data from the networks, and we try and do compression, and we learn more about interesting problems. Like one of the biggest problems with sensor nets is not battery life, but having a monkey climb inside your sensor node and steal the little batteries because they're tasty. Okay, or a big spider making a web and it heats up the sensor node and it burns up. Okay, so it's very interesting problems that are not related to DSPs. Okay, we also have a big project at Rice on building these sensor modes. These are the kind of things that you can actually build student projects. I think Rice, the year that they built this sensor mode, this is an American quarter, so it's about the size of a 500 golf piece, I think, roughly. And they actually built this. This is an all-student project, and Texas Instruments has a program where they give prizes for best student projects. So this is actually a project where they have not only the sensor board, but then a whole bunch of sensors and other things that can plug in. Bluetooth, other kinds of radios. Okay, so I'll wrap up. So unlike Sydney, who refused to predict the future, I will predict that the future will bring higher and higher dimensional data. Okay? We've talked about some of these kind of problems today. And it will bring distributed algorithms. Absolutely. Okay? So these are problems that are going to become very, very important. And we're going to need to come up with new representations, even beyond the things that you're learning about today, to exploit the fact that the structure or information in these signals is somehow going to be geometrical now, and not just the old kind of structure. Okay, so I'll end there. I don't know how much time I do have for questions. Maybe I'm running out of time, Sydney? Yeah, okay, so I'm going to have to go. But I'll be around after over in the next building. If you'd like to learn more about what we're doing, you can just see our web address. And feel free to send me emails with questions, etc. And thank you very much.